super irritated because I just did a whole intro and I didn't record it because I haven't vlogged in so long. Oh my god. But today's date night with myself. I got some sushi. I got some wine, and you're not gonna watch me eat because this is not the kind of channel. But I'm gonna come back and we're gonna talk about what it looks like to date yourself. And I feel like that's one of the things I did the most during the quarantine, during this pandemic, the stay-at-home orders, the indoor dining fiasco that is New York. Like, did a lot of Sam time, aka Enigma the author time, to myself, by myself, enjoyed myself, and let's talk a little bit about what that looks like. I got cut off by spam. Channel. I know it's been forever since I've done an actual vlog, and so I'm super excited to be able to get into this with you guys. I kind of hinted that we're going to talk about self-care and how to date yourself, and so I kind of wanted to just like do that. Talk a little bit about that, what it looks like. So you saw me, I ordered some sushi. I actually went outside and bought sushi. There's a place near me that sells sushi, and I got a bottle of wine, and I just wanted to be able to enjoy my own company. And I know that people say that all the time, but what does that look like? How does one enjoy their own company? And what does it mean to enjoy your company? And I also know that sometimes it can be hard because you don't want to sit with your own thoughts. And so usually when you're sitting with your own thoughts, it looks more like meditating, focus, and being intentional. Again, these are all things we can talk about. Just let me know in the comments below if that's something you want to do. But yeah, like I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about that, especially because I live alone and I spent most of the pandemic alone. When we were doing the stay in order, and even now as we have like all these weird rules in New York City in terms of like how you can like congregate and where you should go and what you should do. But I've been living on my own for a few years now, and I just feel equipped at this point to just share what I've learned about how to spend time alone and spend time with yourself in a way that is like exciting and helpful and all of that. And so before we get started, I'm gonna cut my ring light on, and I'm also gonna do a little quick promo. Let me just go get my coffee cup. So obviously, if you want to see more content from me, Enigma the author, and from the Highly and Humbly community, like, comment, subscribe, turn your notifications on for my YouTube channel. This is the best way. I won't say it's the best way, but it's one of the ways you can connect with me. You can also go to www.highlyandhumbly.nyc and check out all that Highly and Humbly has to offer, including some cute little merchandises with the company logo on it. So you can support me in my entrepreneur journey. And now that we got all the shameless plugs out the way, let's dive right in. So I'm gonna put this graphic up for you to see it. 50 ways to spend time alone. My best friend sent these to me a couple of days ago, and I just thought it'd be cool to kind of talk through them. I'm not gonna go through all 50, I promise, but I want to just talk about something that can just like kind of lift your spirit, lift your mood, and also help you to get to know yourself. So one of the things I also know about, just like I was on my own for the first time ever, and so even though like I went away to college, when I graduated high school. I always had roommates, and then I always lived in a house with a lot of people, always shared my room with other girls. So moving into my own apartment, my studio, was the first time I had my own space. And so it was very novelty at first, but then after a while, you can find yourself, even before the pandemic, kind of just staring at the walls. And I took the time to really just get to know myself. And one of the things I tell people that was like the first kind of like realization for me, just like getting to know myself and what that looked like and what that meant, was that one of the first things I learned about myself was that I don't like apple skin. And I know that sounds crazy, but like my whole life, I would just eat apples whole because, you know, I guess I was also taught not to waste things. And I didn't like it, but I like apples. So I figured like if you have to eat the skin to eat the apple, you can do that. That's what you do to eat the apple. But then something simple as I was bored one day and I decided to peel the apple skin off, and I realized how much more I like the apple without the skin. And it's like little things like that. It's like I never had took the time to just like even just challenge things that I've been like, that's small and it sounds a little silly, but like it's a really good example of how you never really question your processes and why you do things sometimes. You just kind of do them out of habit. And so these tips and tricks that we're going to get into today are supposed to help you to be able to kind of make these realizations about yourself. And so it's also really cool just to be able to know really who you are when you ask yourself these questions. Again, something that can be done during your journaling and your meditation. But all these kinds of things kind of give you a place to start. And so I'm going to be using two graphics. One, my friend sent me from RainyandBean.com. It's 50 ways to spend time alone. And another one that we're going to be using is what's considered real self-care and what's considered fake self-care. So actually, I want to kind of dive into that one first. And so a lot of the time we talk about self-care, like, you know, taking care of yourself. Again, it's like these broad generalizations. And so what does that actually mean? What does it mean to actually like really take care of yourself in a way that's sustainable and the way that makes sense for you? And again, this is not universal. This is just really to give you like a starting ground on like where to start for yourself, exploring yourself. And exploring who you are. And again, I'm 30. I turned 30. I turned 30 last year, and so it took a lot of like intentionality on my part to be able to figure these things out. But if you're younger than me, great. If you're older than me, great. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's never too late to get to know yourself better, and definitely to start new things. And it's the beginning of the year, so why not? Why not try something new in the spirit of new beginnings? So one example they give. I'm going to go through all of them because there's not a lot. But the first example they give is like feeding yourself. And so real self-care looks like fueling your body with food that gives you energy and helps you improve mentally and physically. Fake self-care is dieting. And so it's very interesting to me because it's very, like, I have always been a little bit overweight. I'm working on that, and I've been working on that. Slowly, very, very slowly. But one of the first things I started to do was I started to pay attention to what I was putting in my body. And so especially as you get older, you notice that certain foods just make you feel bloated. Certain foods make you feel gassy. And again, this is not universal. You have to pay attention to your body. Certain foods are going to make you just feel like yucky. And certain foods give you, and like there's universal foods that just boost your immune system and help you to feel healthier about yourself and give you more energy. But you have to pay attention to what your body is doing. If you notice you're super sluggish after you eat like a bowl of rice, then maybe don't eat a bowl of rice. You know? And it sounds like silly, but it's like these are things I had to learn about my body really by trial and error. And so I think it's interesting that they say dieting is fake self-care. Because again, it's more about intentionality. If you're doing a diet, like a crash diet or a fast diet, just for the sake of it, again, it's not sustainable. You can't maintain it. And usually these diets aren't meant or built to really last long periods of time. It's more important for you to develop routines around feeding your body the foods that it needs. Because that's sustainable. That's something you can get used to. That's something that you want to incorporate into your everyday life, opposed to doing a crash diet to lose 5, 10, 15 pounds really quickly. And so that's one. Alcohol or drugs is fake self-care. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't do drugs at all. I've had a couple of edibles. It's not really my favorite thing to do. But I do drink. I do enjoy, like, again, I had a glass of wine early in the episode. But I'm always very careful and cognizant for me, especially just growing up. I have an aunt who's like very like anti-drinking. She's like, you know, like we have alcoholics in our family. Like I don't want to, like she never wanted to be an alcoholic, and she didn't want anybody to be dependent on alcohol. She just saw too many people die from complications of alcoholism, and I completely get that. Also, I don't see any harm in having a glass of wine or even going out and drinking with your friends, you know, having a good time. Now, but because of that kind of like mentality or the kind of like urging from that particular aunt, I always made sure that I try not to drink specifically to escape. And so for me, like I know that it's not healthy for me to try to escape too often, or try to escape, using escape as a sense of just trying to run away from myself, because what ends up happening is, because of like my own like traumas and things that I've gone through, like what ends up happening is I compartmentalize things and then they bubble over later. So if I don't deal with things as they come, what ends up happening is I get really, I don't just get sad, I get depressed. I've developed anxiety these last few years, which is crazy to me because I'm not an anxious person and I hate saying it, but it's like one of those things I had to kind of like realize about myself. It's like I started getting really anxious over the last couple of years. I have these like bouts of depression, like even gotten so far as like suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. And it's because I wasn't necessarily using drink, but I had gotten into this kind of habit of like escaping from reality instead of dealing with the emotions and things, the reasons why I felt a way about certain things. And so alcohol and drugs, like as much as people don't want to really talk about it, they're a band-aid. And they can be a band-aid over a knife wound, they could be a band-aid over a bullet wound, they could be a band-aid over an atomic bomb. But if you're not addressing your life, like you know, addressing the things that drive you to drink, that drive you to smoke, or if you're not addressing those things, you're gonna develop a dependency on whatever vice that you have. And again, for me, it wasn't alcohol or drugs. I got cut off by spam. I think all things are good in moderation. Alcohol and drugs, like, but if you are depending on alcohol and drugs as a form of self-care, you might want to reevaluate your mental state on a very basic level. Just to have a healthier, you need to have a healthier relationship with yourself so you can have a healthy relationship with others. And that's just that. Alternatively, real self-care is drinking water. Drink water. It's like we are made of a lot of I think it's like 70% or something like that of water. Drink water. Honestly, I've been like feeling really blah, and then I drink a glass of water. I'm just like, and it sounds crazy, I know, but it's true. Like, drink, like your body needs water, your body needs hydration, and not juice, not soda, but like actual H2O. Try to improve your water intake. And again, I'm trying to work myself up to like a gallon a day, but even I feel like I don't feel like getting up to get my bottle, but I have like a water bottle that's this big, this thick, and I try to drink 3 or 4 of those a day. And I don't always make the cut, but it's like I notice in my body the days that I drink water and the days that I don't, and like how it improves my mood, my overall, just how I feel. Drinking water is real self-care. Saying yes to everyone because you're a nice person is fake self-care. Now, speaking as a former people pleaser, yes, that was me. It's very easy to kind of fall into it. I'm a dependable person. I like being dependable. I like being reliable, especially because I want that for myself. And I'm definitely a big believer of you want to put out what, you know, you want to treat others the way you want to be treated. And I hope that because I'm able to do that to other people, I can like pay it forward in that way. And you know, the goal is that comes back around to me. And so, which is different from doing it and hoping that you're going to get it right back. I just believe that like God has set in place these like parameters, and if we're all like following that kind of, you know, rule to love others as you love yourself, it'll be easier for us to be able to love each other better. But real self-care is setting boundaries, knowing when to say no, knowing when to say no to your family, knowing when to say no to your friends, knowing when to not overextend. That is real self-care. So saying yes all the time is actually, like, again, it leads to you being burnt out, it leads to you being overwhelmed, and it leads to you not being able to take care of yourself for the sake of just taking care of yourself. You want to be kind to yourself. That is real self-care. And so you don't want to say bad things about yourself in order to motivate yourself, because that's being self-deprecating is not real self-care. Talking down to yourself is not real self-care. I started telling myself that I love myself. I write in my journal, I love you. And I say I love you, Sam, because my name is Samantha, even though I go by Enigma. I say I love you, Sam, signed Sam. And it's something that I have to remind myself. I have to always remind myself to love myself the way I love others, and I'm worthy of the love and compassion that I extend to others. And because I spent so much of my life just giving, I've had to do like a hard reset in order to figure out how to do that for myself, because I've never done that for myself. And I've never done that to myself to my own demise, because I don't set a standard for how I treat myself. I allowed other people to treat me any kind of way they felt like treating me. And so it just did not go well for me. So I had to learn to say nice things to myself, to be kind to myself, to extend grace to myself, to allow myself to make mistakes. Because how else will I learn? How else will I grow? Almost done. You have to spend time with people that enrich your life. That's real self-care, versus socializing because of FOMO, which is fake self-care. So if you're socializing because of FOMO, and FOMO being the fear of missing out, you often end up in circles and around people that you actually don't want to hang around. Like if you ever in a group of people and you go because it sounds like a good time, but you realize you're surrounded by people that you don't actually like, or you wouldn't actually associate with yourself with. Again, that's not really taking care of yourself. You want to spend time with people who add value to your life, and not just because they add value in like a monetary kind of way, but because they challenge you to be better. It's just a good time to be around them. They're kind to you, and you're kind to them. Good vibes, as we like to call it. Those are the type of people you want to hang out with, not just a group of people for the sake of hanging out with a group of people, because that's how you get lonely. Hanging out with people that you don't like, that you don't really talk to, that you don't really vibe with, just makes you feel lonely in a crowded room. And I really believe that's the worst type of lonely. Now you want to treat yourself to something new because you love yourself, not buying anything that promises to make you love yourself more, right? And so basically, like, you don't want to buy into like the diet and those fast fads and stuff like that, because it's advertised to make you love yourself more, because it won't. Like buying things because people are telling you it's going to make you feel better about yourself, there's a temporary fix, it's a band-aid over a bullet hole, and you don't want to do that. You want to buy things that you, again, this is about getting to know yourself. You want to buy things that you know are going to make you feel good. And sometimes buying things that make you feel good is like trying out a new recipe, and this is kind of going into 50 things to do by yourself, trying out a new recipe. Or I love buying Polaroid film, and honestly, I'll show you guys a little bit later. Actually, I'll like put it like picture in picture right here. I redid my library, and like that just made me happy. And I didn't even have to buy anything for that. I had stuff in my apartment that I hadn't used, and so I was like, oh, let me figure out how to make this make me happy, and that's what I did. And that brings me actual joy and repeated joy, opposed to buying like a waist trainer. And I have a waist trainer, but instead of like thinking that buying the waist trainer is gonna make me happy, or buying these clothes or whatever are gonna make me happy, it's like, this makes me happy. I put on makeup today. That made me happy. It's just like you have to find things that genuinely make you happy because you know they make you happy, not because somebody else or some corporation or some organization has decided what happiness looks like for you. And again, this is going into learning who you are and what you like for yourself, and not because anyone else is telling you. And the last thing is, you want to move your body because you can, not working out as a punishment against yourself. And so, again, with the dieting culture, you can do things that, like if I eat this burger, then I'm gonna have to run 2 miles. And it's just like, that is not a healthy way and a healthy relationship with your body. You want to be able to move your body because you can, because you want to, right? And again, the thing that I hate about getting older, and I'm not even that old, but it's like my body just doesn't bounce back like it used to. And I wanted to, and I'm still young enough to be able to correct some of that. And so I move my body now because I want to. I try to stretch. If I'm not working out, I try to stretch during that day. I've been going on my walks. I've been going on my walks. I have like a yoga mat. I have like a YouTube channel that I kind of click into, try to do a couple of sit-ups, a couple of stretches, a couple of like active workouts because I can, and I want to continue to be able to move my body. I don't have any kids yet. I want to be able to like run after my kids and it not be an issue. I actually been focusing really on getting fit more than getting skinny or like losing weight necessarily. Like I definitely do have a goal of the amount of pounds that I want to lose, but my goal beyond the pounds is like I want to be fit. I want to be able to walk up a flight of stairs and not feel like I'm dying when I get to the top. And again, your motivations are, this is what's important. Like what's motivating you really. So real self-care versus fake self-care is really, real self-care is finding out what motivates you and leaning into those things and not doing things for the sake of doing them or because for bragging rights or to be able to say you did it. You want to do stuff because you want to do stuff. And you want to be better because you want to be better, just genuinely. You want to be a better person. And so you need to be able to like know what motivates you. And so really, like, as we finish up today's like vlog, I just want to go over a couple of things to help you to learn yourself and to help you to figure out like what motivates you. And again, another shameless plug, I am a certified life coach, and this is one of the things that I talk to you about with my clients, what motivates them and help them to set their goals and to set actionable steps to reach their goals. That's one of the things that I've done. I've helped people be able to, find work, finish projects, write personal mission statements, these things that I've done with a few of my clients, and I would love to be able to do that with you. So again, you can go ahead to the website, click the links below, and go ahead and sign up for a session. And I can help you. So, some of the things I've already talked about, like going for a walk, and redecorating a room. Well, I have a studio, so it's not really a room, but I redecorated a section of my house. But other things, other ways to spend time alone, that could help you to discover yourself is cleaning your home. And I know that sounds a little bit weird. But like not just cleaning for this, like, just cleaning for the sake of cleaning to be neat, but also cleaning with the intent to declutter. And because one, you'll find things that you forgot you had. And those things will remind you of happier times, happier moments, chores or tasks or hobbies that you kind of laid aside and that you might want to pick up. And also you can find out things that you don't like anymore, the reasons why these things kind of fell to the wayside, throw them out, remove them, and have a cleaner space to kind of work in. But like cleaning your home and cleaning specifically with the intent to declutter helps you to remember who you are and who you're trying to become. And again, another thing you can do when you're spending time alone, again, we were talking about the difference between like spending time alone and meditating. Spending time alone is usually doing activities on your own. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you are meditating or journaling, because like you're doing things like, it's kind of like, it's almost like busy work, but it's busy work that makes you feel good. And so if you're doing like things like decluttering your home, or you're going for a walk, or you're watching a movie by yourself, or whatever the case may be, these things occupy your time and make you feel good. And you get to just know what kind of movies you like, and again, like rediscover yourself and all these kinds of ways. But then you can also meditate, you can journal, you can set your intentions for the day or for the week or for the month or for the year. These things require for you to do some inflection, some reflection, some be self-aware of who you are and where you're gonna go and where you're trying to go. And even some healing, just in terms of allowing yourself to acknowledge some things and to forgive yourself and to forgive others. All these things go into like the meditating and journaling process. And I know that if you don't journal or meditate, it's like kind of hard to know where to start. But those are places to start. Think of who you are, who you want to be, who you've been. And if the person you're turning into or becoming is who you want to continue to become. And these like regular kind of check-ins with yourself help you to, again, explore who you want to be and continue to grow into whoever you decide you want to be. And, I'm a Christian and I love God, and part of that for me is just making sure that I'm the best Christian possible. And not because I do all the things that Christians do, but being a good Christian is really just about loving God and loving God to the best of your ability, and then loving others as you love yourself and as God loves you. And so it's a big task. And so checking in with myself, like, am I being compassionate? Am I being Christ-like? Am I being kind? Am I being loving? Like, do I have the characteristics of Christ? And are these attributes that I'm working on? How can I love people better? How can I love myself better? Again, all of this is a very circular conversation that you can have with yourself. And so the last thing we could talk about is, again, some of these things go hand in hand. So like, even when you're trying to cook a new dish, right? We were talking earlier about like real self-care is giving yourself or feeding your body the food that it needs. So trying a new dish you can incorporate new foods or new flavors that you haven't tried before. And this is a way for you to be able to do something new, do something fun, spend time alone. It checks off a lot of boxes. You're feeding yourself, you're taking care of yourself, you're learning what you like and you don't like. I tried this really funky recipe last night. And I was really surprised it came out well because I didn't feel like cooking. And that's one of the things I want to talk about too, doing things even when you don't feel like it. Like, if you know something is good for you and you don't feel like doing it, do it anyway, because it puts you in a better headspace, in a better heart space about you and your life. And I feel like I've rambled enough for today. I want you all to remember that I love you, and I want you to be great and stay humble. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, turn your notifications on for this video. And I'm looking forward to doing more content and being more consistent when it comes to posting content. So until next time, guys, bye. Hey believers, are you looking for faith-based community and curated Christian content? My name is Enigma, and I run Highly and Humbly NYC. Highly and Humbly NYC is a Christian lifestyle community that focuses on connecting the Christ you love to the life you live through community, apparel, and so much more. When you visit the Highly and Humbly website, you'll see lifestyle blogs, community forums, interactive Bible trivia, and so much Christian content that's designed to strengthen and encourage the everyday believer. So sign up today for exclusive access, and don't forget to be great and to stay humble.